The cargo ship Hanbit drifted through the endless black of space like a sleeping giant. Its metal hull gleamed under the distant light of Kepler 442's orange sun. Inside the ship, Captain Taemin walked down the main corridor with steady steps. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. The air recyclers hummed their constant song. "Do-hyun, are you ready for the cargo check?" Taemin called into his communication device. "Yes, Captain. I will start now," came the reply from the cargo bay. Do-hyun was the best cargo handler on the ship. He had worked on spaceships for 10 years. His hands were rough from moving heavy boxes and containers. His face was kind but serious. Today felt like any other day of routine work. The cargo bay was huge and cold. Tall metal containers stood in neat rows like a metal forest. Each container held goods from different planets. Some had food from the farming worlds. Others had rare metals from the mining stations. The lights above cast long shadows between the containers. Do-hyun pulled out his data pad and began checking the inventory list. Container A47 had medicine from Earth. Container B23 had machine parts from Mars colony. Everything looked normal and in its proper place. He walked deeper into the cargo bay. His breath made small white clouds in the cold air. The temperature was kept low to preserve the goods during the long journey through space. As Do-hyun turned the corner around container C15, he heard a sound. It was very soft, almost like a whisper. He stopped and listened carefully. The ship, engines hummed in the distance. The air recyclers made their steady noise. But there was something else. The sound came again. This time, Do-hyun was sure. It sounded like someone crying, but very quietly, like they were trying not to make any noise. Do-hyun moved slowly toward the sound. His heart began to beat faster. No one should be in the cargo bay except crew members. The ship had been inspected at the last station. All passengers were logged and accounted for. The crying sound was coming from behind container D09. Do-hyun walked around the large metal box. What he saw made him stop breathing for a moment. A small figure sat curled up against the container wall. It was clearly not human. The creature had blue-green skin that looked like fish scales. Its body was thin and small like a child. But this was no human child. The alien girl was shivering badly. Her skin had turned a pale blue color from the cold. Her large golden eyes looked up at Do-hyun with pure terror. She had no clothes except torn pieces of fabric. Her breathing came in quick, short gasps. Do-hyun could see she was very sick. Her lips had turned dark blue, her thin arms wrapped around her body trying to keep warm. She looked like she had not eaten in many days. "Oh no," Do-hyun whispered. His training told him to call security first, to report any unauthorized beings on the ship, to follow proper procedures. But when he looked at the small alien girl, all his training disappeared. She was just a child, a scared, cold, hungry child who needed help right now. The girl tried to crawl away from him. She was too weak to stand. Her movement was slow and painful. She made small sounds of fear. "Hey, hey," Do-hyun said softly. "I will not hurt you." The alien girl did not understand his words, but she heard his gentle tone. Do-hyun moved very slowly. He did not want to scare her more. Without thinking about rules or procedures, Do-hyun took off his work jacket. It was old and worn from years of use. The fabric was tough and warm. It smelled like engine oil and metal polish. Do-hyun knelt down beside the shivering alien girl. She looked at him with those big golden eyes. Fear and hope mixed together in her expression. "Here," Do-hyun said quietly. "This will help you feel warm." He gently placed his jacket around her small shoulders. The jacket was much too big for her. It covered her completely like a blanket. The girl immediately pulled the jacket tighter around herself. For the first time since Do-hyun found her, the girl stopped shivering so badly. The warmth from his body heat trapped in the jacket began to warm her cold skin. Her breathing became a little easier. Do-hyun sat down beside her on the cold metal floor. He did not try to touch her or move her. He just stayed close so she would not feel alone. "My name is Do-hyun," he said slowly. He pointed to himself. Do-hyun. The alien girl looked at him but said nothing. Her grip on his jacket was very tight, like it was the most precious thing in the universe. Do-hyun pulled out his communication device. He needed to call for help, but he would make sure no one hurt this frightened child. "Captain Taemin," he said into the device. "We have a situation in the cargo bay. I need Dr. Soo-jin down here right away." "What kind of situation, Do-hyun?" The captain's voice crackled through the speaker. Do-hyun looked at the alien girl. She was watching him carefully. Her golden eyes seemed to understand that her fate depended on what he said next. "I found someone who needs our help," Do-hyun said simply. "She is very sick and very scared." There was silence on the communication channel. Then Captain Taemin spoke again. "We will be right there." Do-hyun put away his communication device. The alien girl was still watching him. He smiled at her gently. "Do not worry," he told her. "We will take care of you." The girl did not understand his words, but she understood his kindness. For the first time since she had hidden in the cargo bay, she felt a tiny bit of hope. She pulled Do-hyun's jacket tighter around herself and waited. Whatever happened next, at least she was no longer cold and alone. Dr. Soo-jin arrived in the cargo bay with her medical kit. Her footsteps echoed in the large space. Captain Taemin followed close behind her. Both stopped when they saw Do-hyun sitting on the floor beside the small alien girl. "By the stars," Captain Taemin whispered. "What species is she?" The alien girl pressed herself closer to the container wall. Do-hyun's jacket was still wrapped around her thin body. Her golden eyes darted between the new faces. Fear made her breathing quick and shallow. "She is just a child," Do-hyun said softly. "She needs medical help." Dr. Soo-jin knelt down slowly. She had treated many different alien species during her years as a ship doctor. But this little girl looked like nothing she had seen before. The blue-green scales covered her arms and face in beautiful patterns. Her features were delicate and almost human-like. "Hello, little one," Dr. Soo-jin said in her gentlest voice. "I am a doctor. I want to help you feel better." The alien girl did not understand the words, but she heard the kind tone. She looked at Do-hyun as if asking what she should do. "It is okay," Do-hyun told her. He made gentle gestures with his hands. "She is a friend. She will help you." Dr. Soo-jin moved very slowly. She pulled out a small medical scanner from her kit. The device beeped softly as it checked the girl's vital signs. The readings appeared on a small screen. "She is severely malnourished," Dr. Soo-jin reported. "Her body temperature is too low. She has been without food for at least a week, maybe longer." The alien girl watched the scanner with curious eyes. The fear was still there, but mixed with wonder. She had never seen human technology before. "Can you tell us your name?" Captain Taemin asked. The girl looked at him blankly. She said something, in a language none of them recognized. The sounds were musical and flowing, like water over stones. "I will get the universal translator," Captain Taemin said. He spoke into his communication device. "Jun-ho, bring the language processor to Cargo Bay 3. While they waited, Do-hyun tried to communicate with simple gestures. He pointed to himself and said Do-hyun several times. Then he pointed to her and raised his eyebrows in a question. The alien girl understood. She pointed to herself and made a sound like Nari. It was close enough to the Korean word for lily flower. "Nari," Do-hyun repeated. "Your name is Nari." The girl nodded quickly. Her first smile appeared on her face. It was small but bright, like sunshine breaking through clouds. Engineer Jun Ho arrived with the translator device. It was a small box with many wires and sensors. He set it up on the floor between them and the alien girl. This might take a few minutes, Jun Ho explained. The device needs to learn her language patterns. Dr. Su Jin continued her medical examination. She used gentle touches to check for injuries. The alien girl allowed this because Do-hyun stayed close beside her. His presence made her feel safe. She has some old scars on her back, Dr. Su Jin reported quietly. They look like burn marks. Someone hurt her badly. Do-hyun's face grew angry. Who would hurt a child? Any child from any species? His protective feelings for the small alien girl grew stronger. The translator device finally beeped. A mechanical voice spoke in Korean. "Device ready for communication assistance." Captain Taemin spoke into the device. "Can you tell us your name and where you come from?" The device translated his words into the alien girl's language. Her eyes went wide with amazement. She responded in her musical voice. The device translated back to Korean. "My designation is what you call Nari. I come from the world that is no more. The burning ships came and made everything stop living." The crew members looked at each other with concern. The girl's home planet had been destroyed. She was likely one of very few survivors. "How did you get on our ship?" Dr. Su Jin asked through the translator. "My escape pod was breaking apart. Your big ship pulled me inside with its gravity field. I hid because I was afraid you would hurt me like the others did." "What others?" Captain Taemin asked. Nari's face showed great sadness. "The gray ones with the red eyes. They destroyed my world. They hunt my people because we can see the paths between stars. They want to use us like tools." Do-hyun did not fully understand what she meant about seeing star paths, but he understood that she was alone and hunted. He reached out slowly and patted her hand gently. "You are safe now," he told her. "We will not hurt you. We will not let anyone else hurt you either." The translator carried his promise to her in her own language. Tears appeared in Nari's golden eyes. But they were tears of relief, not fear. Dr. Su Jin prepared a nutrient injection. "This will help your body get stronger," she explained through the translator. Nari nodded and held still as the doctor gave her the medicine. She trusted these humans because Do-hyun had shown her kindness first. Over the next few hours, something beautiful happened. Even without perfect translation, they began to understand each other. Do-hyun taught Nari simple Korean words. She learned thank you and friend and warm. In return, she tried to explain her people's gift. She could feel the gravity wells of stars and planets. She could sense the currents of space-time that ships used for faster travel. It was like having a map of the universe in her mind. Jun Ho realized what this meant. "Captain, if she can navigate hyperspace routes naturally, she could help ships travel safer and faster than ever before." "That explains why someone would hunt her people," Captain Taemin said grimly. Nari fell asleep, still wrapped in Do-hyun's jacket. The warm fabric and the kindness of humans had given her the first peaceful rest she had known in months. Do-hyun stayed beside her as she slept. He had found more than a scared alien child in his cargo bay. He had found someone who needed protection from a dangerous universe, and he was determined to give it to her. 3 days had passed since they found Nari. The alien girl was getting stronger thanks to Dr. Su Jin's medical care and regular meals. She followed Do-hyun everywhere around the ship. His jacket had become her constant companion. Nari was learning Korean words quickly. She could now say simple sentences. "Do-hyun oppa good," she would say with her bright smile. The word oppa meant older brother. It showed how much she trusted him. The crew of the Hanbit had grown fond of the small alien girl. Chef Seung-ho made special soft foods that were easy for her to digest. Communications officer Ji-woo taught her numbers and basic ship operations. Even the gruff gunner Min-ho would smile when she practiced saying his name. But their peaceful journey was about to end. Captain, Jiwoo called from the bridge. I am detecting multiple ships approaching fast. They are not responding to our identification requests. Captain Taemin hurried to the bridge. Through the main viewing screen, he could see 6 dark ships moving toward them. They had sharp angles and weapon ports that glowed red like angry eyes. Those are Korath Empire warships, Pilot Haiwan said with concern. What do they want with a cargo hauler? The answer came through their communication system. A harsh voice spoke in heavily accented standard language. Cargo vessel Hanbit, this is Commander Vextar of the Korath Imperial Fleet. You will prepare to be boarded. You are carrying stolen Imperial property. Captain Taemin activated the communication channel. This is Captain Taemin. We are a registered cargo vessel with proper documentation. We have no Imperial property on board. Do not lie to me, human. Vextar's voice growled. We know you have the Velkin navigation unit. Return it immediately or face destruction. In the cargo bay, Nari suddenly stopped eating her meal. Her golden eyes went wide with terror. She understood. Enough Korean now to know they were talking about her. They found me, she whispered to Do-hyun. The gray ones with red eyes. They will take me away. Do-hyun knelt down beside her chair. No one will take you anywhere. You are part of our crew now. But Nari shook her head sadly. You do not understand. The Korath are very strong. They have many ships and weapons. They destroyed my entire world to catch my people. Navigation unit? Captain Taemin asked over the ship's intercom. Nari, what does that mean? Through the translator, Nari explained. My people can see the paths through hyperspace. We can guide ships through routes that others cannot find. The Korath want to use us to control all space travel. They call us navigation units because they think we are just tools. The terrible truth became clear. The Korath Empire had committed genocide against an entire species. They wanted to enslave the survivors for their natural abilities. Captain, Vextar's voice came through the communications again. You have 1 minute to surrender the Velkin. After that, we will take it by force. Captain Taemin looked around the bridge at his crew. They were outnumbered 6-1. The Korath ships had heavy weapons and armor. The Hanbit was just a cargo vessel with basic defenses. But when he looked at their faces, he saw the same determination he felt in his own heart. All crew to battle stations, Captain Taemin announced. We will not surrender Nari to anyone. Sir, Minho said from the weapons console. Our guns cannot match their firepower. Then we will have to be smarter than them, the captain replied. In the cargo bay, Nari was crying. The tears rolled down her scaled cheeks as she clung to Do-hyun's jacket. I am sorry, she said. I brought danger to your ship, to your family. You did not bring danger, Do-hyun told her firmly. Evil people brought danger, and we will stop them. Nari looked at him with amazement. But why? I am not human. You barely know me. Do-hyun smiled and touched her hand gently. Because you are just a little girl who needed help. That is enough. The first Korath ship fired a warning shot. The energy beam passed close to the Hanbit's hull. The ship shook from the near miss. Time is up, human, Vextar announced. Prepare to be boarded. All crew, listen carefully, Captain, Taemin said over the intercom. We are about to do something that has never been done before. We are going to trust completely in our new family member. He switched to the cargo bay communication. Nari, can you see safe paths through hyperspace that the Korath ships cannot follow? There was silence for a moment. Then Nari's small voice came through the speakers. Yes, Captain Appa, I can see a path, but it is very dangerous. Ships are not supposed to go that way. More dangerous than staying here? Another pause. Then Nari's voice became stronger. No, I will guide you. I will not let them take me away from my family. Pilot Haiwan looked at Captain Taemin. Sir, are we really going to trust a child to navigate us through impossible hyperspace? She is not just any child, the captain replied. She is our child, and we trust our family. The Korath ships moved closer. Their boarding pods were preparing to launch. Vextar's voice came through the communications one last time. "You cannot escape us, humans. The Velkin belongs to the Empire. You are just prolonging your deaths." Captain Taemin activated the ship-wide communication. "All hands prepare for emergency hyperspace jump. Nari, we are ready when you are." In the cargo bay, the small alien girl closed her golden eyes. She could see the currents of space and time flowing around them. There was a path, narrow and twisted, but it led to safety. "Turn left 15 degrees, she said. "Increase speed to maximum. When I say jump, activate hyperspace immediately." The Hanbit turned and accelerated. The Korath ships followed, firing their weapons. Energy beams lit up the darkness around. "Them! Jump now!" Nari called out. The universe twisted around them as they entered hyperspace through a route that should have torn their ship apart. But Nari's gift guided them safely through the impossible path. Behind them, the Korath ships tried to follow. But without a Velkin navigator, they could not see the safe route. 2 ships were destroyed by gravitational shears. The others fell, far behind. They had escaped. But Vextar's angry voice followed them through hyperspace. "You cannot hide forever, humans. The Empire will find you. And when we do, you will all pay for this defiance." The Hanbit emerged from hyperspace in a region of space that appeared empty. No stars were visible nearby. Only the distant glow of far galaxies provided any light. It was the perfect place to hide. "Incredible," Engineer Junho said as he checked. "The ship's systems. We traveled through a hyperspace route that our computers say is impossible, but here we are, completely undamaged." Nari sat in the captain's chair, still wrapped in Do-hyun's jacket. Her golden eyes were tired from the intense navigation, but she smiled proudly. "I told you I could do it," she said in her improving Korean. "My people have used that path for many generations, but only we can see it safely." Captain Taemin patted her shoulder gently. "You saved us all, Nari. You are truly remarkable." But their celebration was interrupted by an alarm from the sensor station. Communications Officer Jiwoo looked up with concern. "Captain, I am detecting a large structure nearby. It appears to be artificial." Through the main viewing screen, they could see a massive space station slowly rotating in the darkness. It was built into a large asteroid and covered with docking, ports, and antenna arrays. "Is it Korath?" asked Gunner Minho, his hand moving toward the weapon controls. "No," Nari said excitedly. "Those are Velkin energy signatures. That is a hidden station of my people." As they approached the station, ships began emerging from the docking bays. But these were not warships. They were small transport vessels and maintenance craft. All of them looked old and patched with emergency repairs. A communication channel opened. An elderly voice spoke in Nari's musical language. The translator converted it to Korean. "Unknown vessel. Identify yourselves. How did you find this sanctuary, Captain?" Taemin activated the communication system. "This is the cargo vessel Hanbit. We are bringing home one of your people, a young girl named Nari." There was a long pause. Then the elderly voice spoke again, but this time filled with emotion. "Nari? Little Nari from the 4th colony? She lives?" Nari took the communication device with trembling hands. She spoke rapidly in her own language. Even without translation, the crew could hear the joy and tears in her voice. The space station opened its main docking bay. As the Hanbit entered, they could see hundreds of Velkins waiting to greet them. All had the same blue-green scaled skin as Nari, but most looked thin and tired. When the airlock opened, an elderly Velkin male approached them. His scales had faded to gray with age, and his golden eyes were clouded with tears. Behind him came other Velkins of all ages. "I am Elder Keth Ara," he said through the translator. "I cannot believe our little Nari has returned to us." Nari ran to the elder and hugged him tightly. The other Velkins gathered around, touching her gently and speaking in their musical language. It was clearly a reunion of people who thought they would never see each other again. But then Elder Keth Era approached the human crew with a serious expression. "Humans," he said formally, "why have you brought our child back to us? What do you want in return?" The question surprised Captain Tamin. "We want nothing in return. We helped her because she needed help." Elder Keth Era studied the captain's face carefully. "In 300 years of contact with other species, no one has ever helped a Velkin without demanding payment. The Korath want us as slaves. The Zentari want us to work for them. The hegemony wants to study us like laboratory animals. What makes you different?" Do-hyun stepped forward. "We helped her because she was cold and scared. She is just a child. Any child deserves protection and care." "Even an alien child?" Elder Keth Ara asked. "A child is a child," Dr. Sujin said, simply. "Species does not matter when someone needs medical help." Elder Keth Era looked at each of the human crew members. He saw no greed in their eyes, no hidden plans, only genuine concern for a small alien girl they barely knew. "Remarkable," he whispered. "You truly asked for nothing?" "Nothing except the chance to keep her safe," Captain Tamin replied. The elder's eyes filled with tears. "Do you know what you have given us? Hope. For the first time since our worlds were destroyed, we have hope." He gestured for them to follow him deeper into the station. As they walked through the corridors, the humans saw the reality of Velkin's survival. The station was overcrowded and running on emergency power. Food was being rationed. Equipment was breaking down faster than it could be repaired. "We are all that remains," Elder Cathara explained. "Less than 3,000 Velkins in the entire galaxy. We have been hiding here for 5 years, slowly dying from despair and isolation." They entered a large chamber where a holographic star map showed the surrounding space. Elder Keth Ara activated the display. "The Korath Empire controls most of this region. They hunt us constantly. Any ship that helps us becomes their enemy. That is why no one dares to assist us." "But you helped anyway," an elderly Velkin female said as she approached. "Even knowing the danger." Chef Seung-ho looked at the thin Velkins around them. "Have you been getting enough food?" "We grow what we can in our hydroponic gardens," the female replied. "But it is not much." Without being asked, Seung-ho began organizing the transfer of food supplies from the Hanbit. Other crew members started helping with station repairs. Engineer Jun-ho worked on their power systems, while Dr. Soo-jin set up a medical clinic. The big Velkins watched in amazement as the humans worked to help them without being asked and without expecting payment. "I do not understand," Elder Keth Ara said to Captain Tae-min. "Why do your people act this way?" "Because it is right," the captain replied. "When you see someone who needs help, you help them. That is what civilized beings do." Nari, still wearing Do-hyun's jacket, translated her elder's words for the crew. But she also added her own thoughts. "Elder Keth Ara," she said in her own language, "these humans are different. When Do-hyun Oppa found me, he did not think about rules or danger. He just saw that I was cold and gave me his jacket. They protected me from the Korath even though it put their own lives at risk." The elder looked at Do-hyun with new understanding. "You gave her your jacket?" Do-hyun nodded. She was shivering. It seemed like the natural thing to do. Elder Keth Ara was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke in heavily accented Korean that he had learned from the translator. "In our language, there is a word, Vel Korath. It means family of choice. People who become family not through blood, but through love and sacrifice. I believe you humans are our Vel Korath." As if summoned by his words, alarms began sounding throughout the station. A technician ran up to Elder Keth Ara. "Elder, our long-range sensors detect a Korath fleet approaching. 40 ships. They will be here in 2 hours." The hope that had been building in the station turned to fear. 40 ships was far more than the small Velkan transports could fight. But Captain Taman stepped forward with determination. Then we have 2 hours to prepare. Nari, can you guide all the Velkan ships through hidden hyperspace routes to safety? Yes, she replied. But what about you? The Hanbit cannot carry everyone. We will buy you time to escape, the captain said. It is what family does. Elder Kethara stared at the human captain. You would sacrifice your ship for people you just met? You are not people we just met, Do-hyun said firmly. You are Nari's people. That makes you our people, too. For the first time in years, Elder Kethara smiled. Perhaps there is hope for this galaxy after all. The hidden Velkan station buzzed with activity as both species worked together to prepare for evacuation. Nari stood at the navigation console, her small hands moving over the controls as she plotted escape routes through hyperspace. There are 7 safe paths, she announced to the gathered crowd. Each can carry 5 ships maximum. Any more and the gravitational stress will destroy them. Elder Kethara divided the Velkan survivors into groups. Families stayed together. Essential supplies were loaded onto the transport ships. Everyone worked with quiet efficiency, born from years of hiding and running. Captain Taman watched the preparations with growing respect for these people. Despite facing possible extinction, they helped each other calmly. No one panicked. No one fought over space on the escape ships. Your people have great courage, he told Elder Kethara. Courage born from having no other choice, the elder replied. But today feels different. Today we have hope because of what your crew has shown us. Do-hyun was helping load medical supplies when a young Velkan male approached him. The alien's scales were darker than Nari's, and he walked with a limp from an old injury. Human Do-hyun, the young Velkan said in careful Korean. I am Korven. I wanted to thank you for saving little Nari. She is very special to all of us. She is special. To us too, Do-hyun replied. How did you learn to speak Korean? I have been studying the language files from your ship's computer, Korven explained. Your language is very beautiful. It has words for concepts we never developed, like family of choice and unconditional kindness. Dr. Soo-jin overheard their conversation. Your language is beautiful too. Nari taught us some words. Velkorath is now my favorite word in any language. More Velkans approached, eager to learn about human culture. Chef Sung-ho demonstrated how to make simple Korean dishes using ingredients available on the station. Communications officer Ji-woo showed them human music and art stored in the ship's database. This is incredible, Engineer Jun-ho said, as he worked alongside Velkan technicians to repair their ships. Their technology is completely different from ours, but when we combine our methods, everything works better. The cultural exchange was interrupted by an urgent announcement from the sensor station. All personnel, the Korath fleet has arrived early. 38 ships detected at the edge of sensor range. Time to intercept, 45 minutes. The evacuation pace increased immediately. The first group of Velkan transport ships prepared to depart through Nari's hidden routes. But there was a problem, Elder, one of the transport captains reported. Our navigation systems are too old to interface properly with the hyperspace routes. We need a Velkan navigator on each ship to guide them safely. Elder Kethara's face showed concern. We only have 12 trained navigators left alive. But we need to evacuate 35 ships. What happens to the ships without navigators? Captain Taman asked. They must take the standard hyperspace routes, the elder replied sadly. But the Korath know those routes. Those ships will likely be caught and destroyed. Nari stepped forward, still wearing Do-hyun's jacket-like armor. I have an idea. What if some humans came with us? I could teach them to feel the safe paths during the journey. Their minds are different from other species. They might be able to learn. That is impossible, Korven protested. Navigation is a genetic gift. It cannot be taught. Maybe not fully, Nari said, but humans are very good at learning new things, and they are very good at trusting people they care about. Elder Keth Ara looked thoughtful. It has never been attempted. The risk would be enormous. The risk of staying here is greater, Captain Taemin pointed out. If some of my crew can help save Velkan lives, we will try. Dr. Sujin volunteered immediately. I will go. If someone gets hurt during the journey, they will need medical care. Engineer Junho raised his hand. I will help too. If the ships have technical problems, I can fix them. Communications Officer Jiwoo stepped forward. Count me in. Someone needs to coordinate between all the ships. Soon, half the human crew had volunteered to split up and guide different groups of Velkan refugees to safety. But who will stay to delay the Korath fleet? Elder Keth Ara asked. Captain Taemin looked at Do Hyun and the remaining crew members. We will. The Hanbit is fast and has good shields. We can keep them busy while everyone escapes. Nari suddenly grabbed Do Hyun's arm. No, I will not leave you behind. You gave me your jacket when I was cold and alone. Now I give you something back. What do you mean? Do Hyun asked. I am coming with you on the Hanbit, Nari declared. I can navigate the ship through impossible routes. The Korath will never catch us if I am guiding you. Absolutely not, Elder Keth Ara said firmly. You are too valuable to risk in a battle situation. With respect, Elder, Nari replied in her own language before switching to Korean. I am not going to abandon my Velkorath family. Do Hyun Appa would never leave me behind. I will not leave him behind either. The argument was settled by the arrival of long-range scanner data. The Korath fleet was moving faster than expected. 20 minutes to intercept, the scanner technician announced. All ships must depart immediately. The evacuation began in earnest. Velkan transports filled with refugees launched from the station docking bays. Each ship carried a human crew member who would help navigate the dangerous hyperspace routes. Elder Kith Ara approached Captain Taemin one final time. Human Captain, he said formally, if we survive this day, the Velkan people would like to propose an alliance with your species, not as masters and servants, but as equals, as Vel Korath. We would be honored, Captain Taemin replied. But let us survive first, before we plan for the future. The elder smiled. Spoken like a true human. Always practical, even in impossible situations. As the last refugee ship departed, only the Hanbit remained at the station. Nari took her position at the navigation console. She had changed out of her torn refugee clothing and now wore a proper ship's uniform that Dr. Sujin had modified to fit her small frame, but Do Hyun's jacket was still draped over her shoulders. Are you ready, Navigator Nari? Captain Taemin asked formally. Ready, Captain, she replied with determination. Let us show the Korath what happens when they threaten our family. The first Korath ships appeared on their sensors. Commander Vextar's voice crackled through the communication system. Surrender now, humans. Return our property and we will make your deaths quick. Captain Taemin activated the ship's communication array. His voice carried to every Korath ship in the fleet. Commander Vextar, this is Captain Taemin of the cargo vessel Hanbit. We have no property that belongs to you. We only have a little girl who asked for our protection, and we never abandon family. Then you will die for your foolishness, Vextar snarled. Maybe, Captain Taemin replied calmly, but we will die as free beings who chose to do the right thing. Can you say the same? The battle was about to begin. The Korath fleet spread out in attack formation as the Hanbit pulled away from the hidden station. 38 warships against one cargo vessel should have been a quick victory. But Commander Vextar had underestimated what humans were capable of when protecting their family. Nari, I need you to guide us through every impossible route you know, Captain Taemin said calmly. Can you do that? The small Velkan girl nodded firmly. Her golden eyes were focused and determined. Yes, Captain. I can see 17 different paths they cannot follow, but we must move very fast. Pilot Haiwan gripped the flight controls tightly. Just tell me where to go. I trust you completely. The first Korath ships opened fire with their energy cannons. The Hanbit twisted through space as Nari called out navigation instructions. Hard left. Drop down 30 degrees. Now straight ahead through that gravity well. The cargo ship dove directly toward a massive asteroid. The Korath ships followed, firing continuously. At the last second, Nari called for a hyperspace jump that took them through the asteroid's gravitational field. Impossible, Gunner Minho muttered as they emerged safely on the other side. We just flew through solid rock. Not through, Nari corrected. Around. Space bends around gravity. I can see the bends. Behind them, 3 Korath ships had tried to follow. They crashed into the asteroid and exploded. The remaining ships hesitated before continuing pursuit. For the next hour, the deadly game of chase continued. The Hanbit led the Korath fleet through a maze of impossible hyperspace routes. More enemy ships were lost to gravitational shears and spatial anomalies. But slowly, the cargo ships' shields were weakening under constant fire. Captain, Engineer Jun Ho reported through the communication system from engineering. Our power systems are at 30%. We cannot maintain this pace much longer. That was when the miracle happened. Captain, Communications Officer Ji Woo called from her station. I am detecting multiple ships approaching our position. They are not Korath. Through the main viewing screen, ships began appearing from hyperspace. First came the Velkan transports. They had helped evacuate. Then came ships Captain Taemin had never seen before. Unknown vessels. This is Captain Taemin of the Hanbit. Identify yourselves. Captain Taemin, came a familiar voice through the translator. It was Elder Keth Ara. We are not unknown. We are your Vel Korath family. And we brought friends. The new ships were from different species across the galaxy. Some were sleek and silver. Others were angular and covered in strange patterns. All of them moved with purpose toward the Korath fleet. How? Captain Taemin asked in amazement. Your crew members who helped guide our ships to safety, Elder Kathara explained. They told everyone they met about what humans had done, about how you protected a small alien girl simply because it was right. Word spread quickly through the refugee networks. The story of Do Hyun's jacket, came another voice through the communications. This speaker had a different accent. I am Captain Zektul of the Andraki Republic. We have fought the Korath for decades, but we always fought alone. Today, we fight together. More voices joined the communication channel. Species that had been enemies for generations were now united by a simple story of human kindness. This is Admiral Theus of the Centauri Federation. We heard about humans who chose to protect the innocent instead of seeking profit. Commander Vextar, Captain Taemin called to the Korath fleet. You are now outnumbered. Surrender and withdraw from this system. Vextar's angry voice crackled through space. Impossible! These species have hated each other for centuries. They would never work together. You are right, Elder Keth Era replied. We never worked together before. But humans showed us something new. They showed us that protecting the innocent is more important than old grudges. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Ships from 12 different species fought side by side. Velkan navigators guided Allied vessels through impossible attack routes. Andraki fighters protected Centauri bombers. The Hanbit, with Nari's guidance, coordinated the entire fleet's movements. Commander Vextar's flagship found itself surrounded by former enemies now working as one force. This is not possible, he snarled into his communication system. The galaxy belongs to the strong. The weak exist to serve the powerful. You are wrong, Nari said, her young voice carrying clearly through all communication channels. The galaxy belongs to those who care for each other. Strength comes from protecting the weak, not from using them. The Korath fleet began to retreat as more Allied ships arrived. The story of human compassion was spreading faster than their warships could travel. Species that had never trusted each other were forming alliances based on the simple principle that children deserved protection. In the final moments of the battle, Vextar's flagship suffered critical damage. The Korath commander activated his ship's self-destruct sequence rather than face capture. "If I cannot have the Velkin, no one can," he transmitted. But the explosion that followed was not the end of Korath pursuit. It was the beginning of something far greater. 3 months later, Captain Tae-min stood in the assembly hall of the new Hanbit station. Named after their cargo ship, it had become the meeting place for what historians would later call the Compassion Alliance. Representatives from over 40 species filled the Great Hall. At the center of the room, a statue displayed a simple scene. A human man placing his jacket around the shoulders of a small alien girl. "The Hanbit Accords are now signed by all member species," Elder Keth Ara announced to the assembly. "No longer will any species face extinction alone. No longer will the strong prey upon the weak without consequence." Nari, now wearing the uniform of an Alliance navigator, stood beside Do-hyun at the ceremony. She still wore his old work jacket over her official uniform. It had become the symbol of the Alliance itself. "Do-hyun Oppa," she said quietly, "do you ever regret giving me your jacket that day?" Do-hyun smiled and patted her shoulder. "Never. It was just a jacket. But it became something much more important." "What did it become?" "Hope," he replied. "It became hope for the entire galaxy." Captain Tae-min, now Admiral Tae-min of the Alliance fleet, approached the podium to give the closing speech. "3 months ago, we were just a cargo ship carrying goods between planets," he began. "Today, we are part of something that will change the galaxy forever. Not because we were the strongest or the smartest, but because we chose to be kind." The assembly hall erupted in applause from dozens of different species, but the loudest cheers came from the human section, where Do-hyun's fellow cargo handlers waved small flags with the Alliance symbol. After the ceremony, Do-hyun walked through the station's corridors with Nari. They stopped at a viewing port that looked out into space. Ships from many worlds docked at the station's ports. Beings who had been enemies now worked together on common projects. "I have been thinking," Nari said, "about what makes humans special." "What did you decide?" "Other species see differences first," she explained. "Korath see things to conquer, Zentari see things to study, Andrakians see things to trade with, but humans see a person who needs help first. Everything else comes after that." Do-hyun considered her words. "Maybe that is our gift to the galaxy. Not better weapons or faster ships, just the ability to see others as family. Even alien others. Especially alien others," Do-hyun said with a grin. "After all, the best family members are the ones you choose, not the ones you are born with." Nari hugged his arm tightly. Through the viewing port, they could see more ships arriving at the station. The Compassion Alliance was growing every day, as word spread about species working together as equals. "Do-hyun Oppa," Nari said, "I think you should get more jackets." "Why?" "Because there are many cold, scared people in the galaxy, and you never know when someone might need one." Do-hyun laughed and pulled out his data pad. "You know what? That is an excellent idea. I will order a whole shipment." As they walked back toward the command center, Nari asked one more question. "Do you think the Korath will try to attack us again?" "Probably," Do-hyun replied honestly. "But they will find something they do not expect." "What is that?" "They will find that when you protect people instead of conquering them, they choose to stand with you. And there is no force in the galaxy stronger than people who choose to fight for each other." The Alliance grew stronger every day, built on the foundation of a simple human truth. When someone is cold and scared, you give them your jacket. Everything else follows from there. In years to come, historians would mark the discovery of Nari as the turning point that saved galactic civilization. But Do-hyun knew the real truth. It was not one moment that changed everything. It was the decision to be kind, made new every single day by every single person who chose to help instead of harm, and that was humanity's greatest gift to the stars.